All right, what's going on, everybody? We're back talking about UFC, but not really the news that we want to hear, to be honest. I have already made my opinions very clear. If you haven't seen them already, I've already made 2 videos on Jon Jones ducking Tom Aspinall, and it seems like it's not ending anytime soon. So as of recently, Joe Rogan heard a little rumor that Jon Jones is going to get paid $30 million for the Tom Aspinall fight, which is reportedly what he's been asking for, which was a big deal at the time. I actually kind of believed it. I thought the Turkey Al Shade in Saudi Arabia and Riyadh season were going to step in and make this fight. What an amazing first Riyadh season card that would be, by the way. Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall for the first Riyadh season card in UFC would be sick. But it doesn't seem like that's the case. Joe Rogan has come out recently and said that all of those things have been false. So let's react to that. But real quick, before I get into that, 96% of you guys aren't subscribed. So if you like boxing, influencer boxing, or MMA content, I post 3 to 4 times a week on this channel, at least. So make sure you subscribe. Also, if you're looking for a new combat sports podcast, the Day One's podcast will be in the link down below. I appreciate you. All right, so obviously Joe Rogan is probably one of the best, probably the best inside source for the UFC. He's only been in the UFC since it started, or like since the 3rd event or something like that. So let's see what he has to say about this whole situation.
Speaking of which, I have to correct something. We were talking about Jon Jones. I'd heard a rumor that Jon Jones wanted $30 million to fight Tom Aspinall. And I did hear that rumor. And I did hear that the UFC said yes, but it is not true. So Dana contacted me and said that rumor's bullshit. So I felt obligated to tell everybody that was a fake rumor. I don't even remember who, because we did that podcast, unfortunately. We did that podcast 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I don't remember who told me that.
What do you think the amount is that Jon Jones would fight him for, or do you think it's an amount?
Well, apparently Jon is thinking about retiring.
Yeah.
And he should. I mean, he's going to have to someday. He should. I'm not saying he should retire. I'm saying he should think about it. Give the man all the time he wants. He can fight whenever he wants to fight. That's Jon Jones. He's the GOAT. The GOAT.
Okay. No. First of all, he shouldn't fight whenever he wants. He shouldn't be holding the fucking heavyweight title hostage. That's stupid. I don't know why he's saying that. Either fight Aspinall or retire. Like, it's so simple. All right, hold on. Now, I don't think Jon Jones asking for that amount of money is the problem. If anything, it does kind of make sense. I think he made like $10 million off of the Stipe fight. The Tom Aspinall fight will be way bigger. And you do have to pay your champion more and more every single fight, especially if he's thinking about retiring. So I'm not saying that's dumb. If anything, it is a bit dumb that the UFC won't just partner with Saudi Arabia and get this done. But there's some context behind. I don't really like this high number demand from Jon Jones. Because if he was just saying that's what he wants because that's what he deserves, that would be one thing. But that's not what he said in the past. And I know there's a lot of Jon Jones fans that think that he's still not ducking Tom Aspinall. He just doesn't need to fight him. But clips like this are what make me think that he definitely at least thinks Tom Aspinall is a threat. At least. Because the way he words this is very interesting. Let's look at it.
Is there a dollar figure that equals fuck you money?
A very, very high number. It's going to be a very high number, for sure.
Don't want to define very high yet?
No, I'm not, I've learned over the years not to really get into finances publicly. But I want to be compensated to the point where if I won or lost, that it really wouldn't matter.
If I were to win or lose, it really wouldn't matter. Now, I can't be the only one that thinks that's a bit interesting, that's his mindset. Now, it would be one thing if he was showing love to Tom Aspinall, saying he's a great fighter. I would have to get this amount of money to face that level of opposition. But he's just moving around it, saying that Tom Aspinall is an asshole. He doesn't want to work with him and making every excuse down the fucking ladder tree. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. But it's so dumb, dude. It is so dumb. I don't understand what his mindset is. Like, if you don't want to fight Tom Aspinall, retire. I think he's trying to wiggle in that Alex Pereira fight so he can just tap Alex in round 1. Like, he really just wants a layup for the end of his career. Tom Aspinall will be the biggest test of his career. He's actually somebody bigger than Jon Jones, which he only fought really once in his career in the Gustafsson fight, and that was a very good fight. It was pretty close. And Dominic Reyes beat him, in my opinion, and was his size. So if you face somebody like Tom Aspinall that is faster than Jon, Stipe was landing on Jon Jones in their fight. Can you just imagine with Tom Aspinall's movement and blitzes? Jon Jones is a bit too old for that. That's what I think the main difference is if they fought. I'm not 100% counting out Jon Jones in that fight. I'm not saying that because of his work on the ground, but standing up, I'm definitely counting out Jon because Tom Aspinall's movement is elite, especially for his size. And Jon, his striking defense sometimes is just him doing this, which is cool when the people are smaller than you. But when you're facing somebody like Aspinall that can blitz right in between those long arms, things can get real dangerous. And I think that's what Jon knows. Jon is very smart and studies his opponents. I don't think he's ducking for no reason. There's just so many badass UFC fighters that put on challenges, take on challenges where they go up to a higher weight class. Like, we have people like Volkanovski that is one of the greatest of all time in his weight class, coming in on short notice on a rematch versus Islam. Obviously, that didn't go very well, but obviously this wouldn't be a short notice thing. I just don't like the GOAT of the sport being nitpicky. I really don't. That's why I actively want to push for Usyk being the greatest boxer over time over Floyd, because we've seen in Floyd's career that he was extremely nitpicky too. And for the people saying he deserves to go out however he wants, I don't believe that. For what he's done, I'm not going to get into it too much, but I think he deserves to get chinned at least once, or beat or humbled just once. I don't think he is the type of human being that deserves to go in the sunset with the perfect ending, to be completely fair. So yeah, it's a bit of a bias that I want to see Jon lose, but I'm going to look at it objectively when the fight happens. That's why I say Jon Jones could win the fight, but I really wouldn't favor him whatsoever. I feel like he has slowed down, and we've seen it in the Stipe fight. Again, he was getting tagged by Stipe, and I think if Aspinall landed those shots, it's as simple as he might be down after that. And I love Stipe. He's literally a hero. He chooses to be a firefighter when he's rich. Like, that is just an outstanding human being. But he looked shit in that fight. He looked awful in that Jon Jones fight. And if you sit here and say that Stipe looked good in that fight, that's when I start taking your opinion not seriously. Stipe was a punching bag in that fight. Still was a beautiful spinning back kick by Jon Jones. Of course, it was beautiful technique. But he probably... I think anybody could have landed that kick on Stipe. He was just standing there. It was really bad. Very bad performance by Stipe, but again, he's a hero, so it is what it is. I'm glad he got his check. And by the way, for all that Jon Jones has done, it really isn't that unreasonable for me to want him to see him lose at least once or get knocked out at least once. He should be in prison for some of the stuff he's done. He might have changed, hasn't really been showing it. He threatened the drug tester very recently. You know, when he got inducted into the Hall of Fame, he did one of the worst things that he's done. And he's just been consistently doing things wrong in his career and proving that he isn't a great human being. So I don't think it is that ridiculous for me to want to see him not go out on his terms. I don't think he deserves it, genuinely. It's just so frustrating that Dana and Jon Jones are just burying Tom Aspinall when he's really going on a historical run. He's really knocked out so many of the top 10 in like the first round. His average fight time is 2 minutes, but he's just an up-and-coming star, blah, blah, blah. He's not worth my time, blah, blah, blah. He's the interim champion. Usually, actually always how it works is the champion that for whatever reason lost the belt because he got hurt or for other reasons in the past. Aspinall is the interim champ. So usually, this is crazy, I gotta explain this. They usually fight each other to unify the belts. But for the first time in history, the interim champion just basically got pushed to the side and he had a title defense against somebody that was basically retired. And now that Dana is saying that the Aspinall fight should happen, now that Jon Jones is putting a number out there for the Aspinall fight happening, all of a sudden he's going to retire. So I don't know, dude. If you're going to retire, drop the belt and get out of here. Just get out, bro. Why we got to halt the whole heavyweight division? I know that Aspinall doesn't have that much for him at heavyweight, especially with the Cyril Gane-Volkov situation. Nobody wants to see Aspinall versus Gane after that. Aspinall versus Volkov would be badass. I would love that fight. I would just throw away Jon right now. That would be a sick fight. But now it's not going to happen because they robbed Volkov. And what? Aspinall is just going to beat up on Cyril on the ground? Like, I don't know, bro. I feel bad for Aspinall. I really do. And we've seen that Jon Jones doesn't just care about this. We've seen him in DMs responding to fans and comment sections responding to fans about this, talking back to this. So if he has so much pride about this whole situation, if he really is annoyed by all this, why doesn't he just fight Tom? This is why I don't think he actually retires. I think he's going to try to wiggle a different fight. And maybe he will like threaten retirement sometime soon. But I don't know. I don't think his pride will let him go out like this, knowing that fans are just not going to let this go. He also said in that DM that his wife fucks the shit out of him every night. To each their own. I'm not judging. I'm just saying that's a pretty thing. That's a pretty wild flex, John. So yeah, man, this is just taking a lot out of me, bro. I'm so sick of talking about Jon Jones and all this. I just kind of wish he would either fight Aspinall or go away. If this is Dana's problem, by the way, just pay Jon 30, by the way. I really do believe that. Get Turkey Al-Shade in this. Bring Saudi to UFC. Bring a Riyadh season card to UFC. The first Riyadh season being Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall would be huge. You can make a massive event around it in Saudi Arabia. And it could be big, big money. Maybe you could even pay Jon more than $30 million if Turkey Al-Shade is involved. They got bank over there. Now, once again, to the Jon Jones fans that might be in my comments right now hating, I don't 100% count out Jon Jones in the Aspinall fight. Once again, I do think it's like 70-30 Aspinall. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it will be like a squash. I don't think that Aspinall is just going to squash Jon Jones, because there could be an argument there being like, why would it really be a huge fight if it's really not a close fight like you're saying? I do think it could be close. I wouldn't favor Jon because what I've seen recently, especially from Aspinall, but I'm not going to 100% count him out because regardless of what I think, regardless if I don't want to put him as my greatest of all time, he is probably number 2 or 3. Definitely number 2 because GSP is good too, but he lost a bit too many times. You know, Jon Jones, without the steroid use and all the other stuff that happened in the Nick Picky-ish fights and the Dominic Reyes thing, he probably would be the GOAT, but those all are factors in my mind for why he isn't. But regardless, he still is dominant and one of the greatest of all time. It's like the same thing with LeBron and Michael Jordan. Like, if I sat here and said Michael Jordan is the GOAT, a lot of people get mad because of that. Why can't they just be the 2 best of all time? You know what I mean? Why can't Demetrius Johnson and Jon Jones could be just the 2 best fighters of all time? They're in 2 different weight classes anyways. Drastic difference in weight classes. So who really cares? I just don't like the actual word of people saying Jon Jones is the greatest of all time just because of the context. So yeah, overall thoughts. Either Jon Jones faces Aspinall or retires in my eyes. I'm really getting sick of this. I do think he is avoiding for a reason. I do think he thinks Aspinall is a threat. If you don't think Jon Jones thinks that Tom Aspinall is a threat, you're just lying to yourself. He definitely acknowledges him as a threat, at least asking for $30 million. I think Dana should just pay him up. I say just give him the $30 million. If he denies the $30 million, then he truly is ducking. But if he will fight him for 30, give him 30, Dana. Just give him 30 so we can see this. So yeah, let me know if you agree down below in the comments. Make sure you like or dislike the video. Don't be afraid to engage or be negative. Engagement is all that matters, especially since I'm a small channel. I would love to debate in the comments. That's what I'm here for. It's a very fun thing to do, by the way. I'm not going to sit here and get mad about your opinions or anything. I will happily debate. So you could be negative or negative in the comments. The engagement helps regardless, so I appreciate it. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. Hopefully I'm done talking about this until there's an official announcement that he's either retired or facing Aspinall. Until then, I'm done. I promise I'm done. Until there's something official being announced, we're done with the speculation talk. Either this is happening or it isn't. That's what I'm thinking about. So yeah, thank you guys for listening to me yap like usual. God bless all of you, and peace out.